Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. So today in this video, you're going to see what is browser caching. So browser caching is a performance optimization technique that will significantly improve your performance on your website loading time and the overall performance. And that's why we are literally dying to improve the performance. So browser caching again will help you to improve uh, the performance of your web application, and it comes under performance engineering. So that's the reason I'm including this as part of the performance testing to performance engineering transformation role. And this, yeah, like I told you, this falls under the broader domain of performance engineering. So what does this browser caching does to us? So browser caching is basically a mechanism where the web browsers store static resources like the HTML files, the images, the CSS, JavaScript, which are locally on a user's device after the first visit to a website. So on a subsequent visits, when you're visiting your website again and again, the browser can load these resources from its local cache instead of downloading them again from the server. So that is the reason we are we are supposed to know about what is browser caching, and by using the browser caching we can improve the website's performance. So like I told you, the browser caching improves the website's performance. So now here in this section of this video we'll see how does the browser caching improves the website's performance. So the first part is the faster page load times. So the cached resources load much quicker from the local devices comparing to downloading them from the server each time. And that's the reason we all know why do we need to delete the cache sometimes from our machine, so that every time the request will go to the server. So here in terms of improving the performance, we are using in a reverse manner. So we are going to improve the page load time. So we are going to make the page load faster, and for that we are going to use uh, the faster page load times, and for that we are going to use the cached resources that will load much quicker from the local devices comparing to downloading them from the server each time. And then the second part of it is the reduced server load. So the fewer requests are made, so the lesser the requests are made to the server, since the resources are loaded from the cache, it will decrease the demand on server resources. So since most of them are cached in your system, so you're going to send a fewer requests, which is like a lesser request to the system, to the server. Since you have already loaded them, you're going to load them from the cache. That will decrease the demand on the server resources, and this in turn will this in turn will faster the page load times. And then the third part is the bandwidth saving. So the lesser the data that you need to transfer between the server and the client, that is, you're going to send lesser amount of data to the server, and the server is going to send back you the lesser amount of data. You're going to save the bandwidth for both the user and the website host, and that bandwidth will be used for the other data to send back and forth, which are really needed for your performance of your application or performance of your website. And then the fourth one is the improved user experience. So the faster loading time will lead to a smoother browsing experience, which will potentially reduce the bouncing rates and increasing user engagement. So that will improve the user experience. So the faster, so for example, if you are visiting a gaming website, or if you're visiting any website that you want to watch for, or you want to use, or you want to book some tickets, or you want to book some items on the website, so the faster the website loads, it will be smooth, it will give you a smoother experience, and again it will potentially reduce the bouncing rate and increasing the user engagement. So more and more users will start to use it, and that will turn into revenue. So that is the reason we normally care about the user experience. And finally, the better SEO performance. So the page speed is a ranking factor for search engines. So faster load times can positively impact the search rankings. So now, so far we saw about what is browser caching and how does it improve the performance. So now we'll see how to leverage the browser caching. And in fact, we'll see about this in separate example in our upcoming videos. But for now, I'll take you through an elaborated way of how to leverage the browser caching. So you have to set appropriate cache headers, which is the cache control, which normally. So there are like two attributes which I will show you in the upcoming video, in the next few minutes, on the two headers which are like part of your application. and you can see that in the response, which is the cache control and then the expires. So you have to set appropriate cache headers for the mainly the two cache headers, which is the cache control and the other one is the expires on your server, to instruct the browsers on how long to cache the resources. That's very important. So when you're setting it up, your browser, I mean, like your browser will leverage the browser cache. And then the second part is the using the versioning or fingerprinting for static assets to ensure the users receive updated versions when changes are made. So this is another important part when it comes to leveraging the browser caching. So you have to use the versioning or the fingerprinting for static assets. It's not for the dynamic one. It's again, you have to note it down. It is for the static assets to ensure the users receive updated versions when the changes are made. And then the third part is utilizing the caching plugins if using a content management system like WordPress. So if you're using, so most of us like nowadays are using WordPress. So if you're using systems like WordPress, you have to use the caching plugins. And in fact, like there are lots of other caching plugins that are in the market. We'll just go through them in the upcoming videos. And then the server settings. So you have to configure the server settings to enable caching for static resources. So by doing all these, you can improve the performance of your application. So browser caching is indeed a key component of performance engineering, which focuses on optimizing the software systems for speed, responsiveness, and efficiency. And by implementing all the above said techniques, you can effectively improve the performance by these caching strategies. So you can enhance your website's performance and user experience. So now we'll see how does these browser caching works in some of the websites. So so far we saw about the browsing caching techniques. Like how does it improve the performance, and what are the ways we can implement the browser caching effectively. So now we'll see, say, for example, like we have uh, some of the major websites, I would say, in the market. So we'll see how does the browser caching is being implemented in these websites, so that you can see, and you can, in fact, you can try the same in your applications, in your web applications, and find out like how does the browser caching is being implemented. And if it is not, then you can recommend that to your developer or you yourself. If you are a part of a performance engineering team, you can improve the performance. So first thing is go to the website and then do an inspect here, where you'll get the screen. Let me bring it down. So yeah, to come back to the dev tool, you have to do right click inspect, or you can press F12, and then in pressing this three dot, you can keep this particular dock on any of the site which you want to bring it to. And now in this browser tool, if you go to the network tab here, let me do a quick refresh. Let me bring this down. So here on the side, you can see under the size part, you can see the disk cached and the memory cache. So for example, these items here, the config or the ssg manifest.js or ct.html, so all these part are either disk cached or they are memory cache. So they don't come normally from the server, but instead they come from the cache, right? So if you can see here, like there are like many items that are, because since I'm using this regularly, they are being cached from here. And the other part here is let me even tell you this one. For example, if I'm so here on the right side top, you can see the first time when I'm loading this page, it nearly took 2.67 seconds. So if I'm doing it again, I'm refreshing the page again, here you can see it has been reduced to 2.22 seconds, because I could get more of the items that is getting memory cache in my system. So that's how the browser cache works, and it will improve the performance of your applications every time. So it normally is caching the item either in the memory cache or in the disk cache. And you can even, so the reason we wanted to see this is you can understand what are all the items that get memory cached or get disk cached. And like for example, if I'm going to this website and go to inspect, so this is some of the way you can try in your web applications and see how do they really work and what are the items. So here if you see, I've got like 1.11 seconds the page load time. And if I refresh it again, Okay, it gets 1.15 seconds, and see, now it has got 0.9. And so you're literally increasing the performance by the way, or by the manner of increasing, by doing more amount of cache. And this, yeah, this literally increased the performance. And for the first time it took like nearly 1.52, and when I'm refreshing it, see, it took like just half of what we really wanted to do. Like it's like zero point 0.5 seconds. And when I go to the inspect, go to the network, and see, these are the items that has been memory cache. And the more and more you get memory cache, so the user will get a better performance. So for example, if you can see, these are the items that has got memory cache. These are the items which, I mean, the images or any of the static items that has got cached to your website. And then there's another part which I have told you about, the cache header. So if you go to the application, and under the response here, you can see, so for example, in this particular uh, request which I was recording for another demo, and I was having all these details in the response, the header response. So it is using a server nginx server, and the content type is here. But when it comes to the cache control, it says no cache for this particular record. So in case if I'm looking for any other item, like for example, like any images or something, I could see that those particular item would have been cached. So these are the items which you can see here. They are like says no cache. So they were not like static items, and they were like dynamic items. So that's the reason they were showing cache control as no. And then even you can see in some of the examples, you can see the expires header, which will show like when it gets expired. So these are some of the ways where you can um, verify the browser caching part. And then, like I told you, coming back to the website, so yeah, you can load your website for the first time, and then when you reload it, you can see there's an improvement of performance. The page load, so you can compare the loading times and the network requests between the first and the subsequent like loads, because the cache resources should fast loader, I mean should load faster on subsequent visits. So by using all these methods, you can verify if the browser caching is implemented correctly on your website, and you can identify any resources that may not be cached properly. And you can also remember that proper caching can significantly improve your website's loading speed and the overall performance. So by doing all these, you can improve ultimately the performance of your web application. So you can see all these are like the static items, and they were all got either memory cached or disk cached. So you can even see like only very few of the items where, so totally there are like 110 requests, and 50.6 KB is being transferred, and 5 MB resources. So when we load it again, so I can even do a duplicate of it. So when I do a duplicate of it and go to inspect, go to the network, and when I refresh, see, the same page, right? The same page. Previously, it was like 110 requests, and now it is like 100. Okay, sorry, it's 110 requests, but uh, let's see what else has changed. Yep. So now we can see the amount of data that's been transferred. It's just waiting. I think it's just waiting for one of the last item to get loaded. It should supposed to be like 110, and now yeah, it has got 111 requests. And there is another thing which I have to tell you about, is the lazy loading of the images, which in fact we'll discuss that in one of our performance engineering videos. But for now, if you see, the amount of data that's been transferred has been come down. So previously it was like 50.6 KB, and now in the new loaded it has got like 49.2. And this one has finished in 25.12 seconds. But the new one, the again loaded one, has got like 11.83 seconds, and the load item, like it nearly took like 548 milliseconds. Previously it took like 738 milliseconds. So these are some of the way. And then the DOM content that's been loaded is 352 milliseconds, and later it's like 228 milliseconds. So these are the way you can improve the performance, and that is by browser caching. So with that, I come to an end of this video, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and like my video. And for more, like, we're going to discuss a lot and lot of similar topics which will definitely will make you as a performance engineer, and more than that. So please do watch all my videos, subscribe to my channel, give a join and a thumbs up to my video. And yeah, We'll meet in our next video. Until then, bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and your favorite little YouTube channel. Take care and bye bye.